We've been making the national news today because Bristol has become the first city in the country to introduce voluntary no smoking zones in 2 public squares. Signs have gone up in Millennium Square and Anchor Square, urging people not to light cigarettes.
It follows a government report last year which suggested smoking should be banned in all public parks and spaces. One pro-smoking group has strongly criticised the idea, saying that it's prohibition. Here's our health correspondent Matthew Hill.
Could these be the signs of the future? Though not legally enforceable, they ask smokers to stub out.
I think it's brilliant, and especially having kids around. You know, even outside with the smoke going everywhere, I don't want it next to him, to be honest.
I'm 33 and I got diagnosed with emphysema. Big shock.
It all coincides with a new campaign by Smoke Free South West. Their TV ads draw on the personal story of 33-year-old Kirsty Vass from Devon.
It's not a nice feeling at all. Not a nice feeling.
Much of the tobacco that comes to Britain passes through the port of Bristol.
Bristol was built on tobacco, and it's still an important industry, with Imperial Tobacco's global headquarters here. Well, smoking levels have plummeted since those days, with just 3% of 11 to 15-year-olds now smoking, compared to 9% 10 years previously. But when you ask the question, should there be a ban, albeit voluntary, in places like Millennium Square, and there are some who believe that's a step too far.
What evidence do you have that a child seeing a complete stranger smoke in the open air is encouraged by that person to smoke? There's no evidence for that whatsoever.
We know absolutely clearly that kids copy what adults do, and actually we've tried this already in play parks, and we've seen that over a third of smokers respond really responsibly, move away and don't smoke in front of kids.
Yes, but that's play parks, and don't you see this is creeping prohibition? We've started with play parks, now you're trying to ban smoking in public areas where adults and children are present. Are you therefore in future going to try and ban smoking anywhere where a child is present?
For these smokers, the ban is the thin end of the wedge.
So you'll carry on smoking here even though there are posters up saying voluntary smoking ban?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's my choice, it's my health, you know.
There's 3 sides. You get cars, buses, lorries drive round. It's a little fagging in there, no one is it?
So with Bristol now setting the agenda, the question is, will other cities follow? Matthew Hill, BBC Points West.
Well, Kate Knight, you saw her in the film, is from Smoke Free South West, the organisation behind this voluntary outdoor smoking ban. Thanks for coming into the studio. Well, smokers are human beings too. They contribute £12 billion a year in tobacco tax. What harm are they doing by having a cigarette out in the open air?
Well, I think it's a really exciting day for Bristol, who are leading the way here in terms of introducing smoke-free areas, bang in the middle of this fantastic city.
But what harm are they doing?
This is about children, and this is about children enjoying areas without seeing people smoking around them and without being tempted to look at smoking in the future.
But it also applies late at night, doesn't it, when pubs and clubs around there are open, when there wouldn't be children around?
Well, we've spoken to the pubs and clubs around around Millennium and Anchor Squares, and we've spoken to lots of smokers and non-smokers around the squares, and the majority of them agree with us that the squares would be a more pleasant place to be if there was a voluntary scheme there asking people not to smoke. And this really isn't about a ban. We're not enforcing this or policing this. What we've done today is put up some very polite signs suggesting to people that they may want to smoke elsewhere away from the square. And we know, because we've done work like this before, that it does work.
It is marginalising them, isn't it? Deliberately.
Well, fewer and fewer people smoke these days. We're down to well under 20% here in the southwest in many areas. And what we're doing saying to smokers is please just support us here, and please just smoke slightly away from children, and help us encourage smoke-free areas for everybody to enjoy.
Would you like to be able to enforce it legally?
No, we're not looking to enforce this legally. That's not something that's on the cards here at all. We know that people respond very well and very responsibly to a small nudge, really, to a gentle ask. And that's what this is about today.
OK. Thanks very much indeed for coming in. Nice to see you. Thank you.
You can continue that debate actually on our Facebook page because it's already started if you have access to it.